All right, boys and girls, we're here on Friday. We're moving on to rounding numbers. You might have heard this before, but here's a little refresher for you. We're going to first say our I can statement and then do a little bit of show on this. Then we'll do some whiteboard work and then a problem set, okay? So first I'll read this. It says, I can round multi-digit numbers to the thousands place using the vertical number line. So let's talk about what it says here, okay? Rounding. If you remember rounding, we round to the nearest 10, nearest 100 last year. And this year we're going to learn how to round to the nearest 1,000 as well, okay? So multi-digit numbers are more than one number, right? So we talk about numbers in the hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s place. So more than one number, okay? And we're going to do this to the thousands place. And if we remember what the thousands place is, thousands place starts off with the ones, the tens, the hundreds. Okay, these are what we dealt with last year in third grade. Well, now we're expanding out into the thousands area, okay? So thousands. So we're going to be rounding numbers to the thousands place, okay? And we're going to use a vertical number line. Now, last year we used a vertical number line. Vertical number line is a great tool to use to help us with this. So some of us on our whiteboards have number lines built right in. Others don't. It's okay. We can always draw our own. So what I'm going to show you here is kind of review what we did last year and then talk about what we're going to do this year, okay? So in rounding, we always want to find the halfway point. So if I'm rounding to the nearest 10, so if I say nearest 10, okay, I can start off really simply and I can say, all right, here's my vertical number line. Okay, I always put arrows on the end, all right, like this, and I have a top point and a bottom point. This should all be ringing a bell for you, okay? And if I say, all right, if I want to round to the nearest 10 and I have, say, 0 and 10, I always want to figure out, what's the midpoint? What's halfway? And the answer is 5. So I always find my halfway point. And pretty much every time you find the halfway point between numbers, the answer is going to have a 5 in it somewhere, okay? So if I say, hey, what's 7 rounded to the nearest 10? You would say, well, 7 fits in right about here somewhere, okay? This is 7. And then you would say, well, that's higher than the halfway point, so that rounds up to 10. So 7 would round up to 10. See how that works, okay? If I have a different number, let's say, rounding to the nearest 10, I say, let's say 24, okay? I have to ask myself, all right, I'm going to round this to the nearest 10. So here's a vertical number line. I got my high point and my low point. If I'm counting by tens, which two tens does this land between? It goes 10, 20, 30. So it lands between 20, which is the low at 10, and the high 10 is 30. What's the halfway point? If you said 25, you were correct. Halfway point is 25. And then I would say, well, 24 is just below 25, is right there. So the closest 10 is 20. So 24 rounds to 20. So the same deal is with thousands, all right? So if I think about 1,000, here's the number 1,000, okay? And if I think of the low point as 0, all right? What's halfway between 1,000 and 0? What's the halfway point? Give you a second to think about that. It's got a 5 in it. And if you said, well, it's 500, you're correct. Halfway between 0 and 1,000 is 500, okay? So we're going to be looking at that 500 mark between thousands today. We're going to do a little bit of whiteboard work. We're going to practice this. We're going to learn this concept. You're going to remember a few things from last year. I'm really excited about today, but you must promise to be great listeners. And when things start to get hard, we try harder, okay? So we don't start to zone out and look out the window. We try harder. We adjust how we're sitting. We listen up. We raise our hand. We ask questions. But I know you can get this, and you can have a lot of fun today. All right, so hang tight.